Have you ever wondered how a group of colonies took on the most powerful empire in the world and won? We're going to walk through the journey from British rule to American freedom. Step by step, clear and simple. No legends, no myths. Just the real story of how it all happened. Let's begin. Before the American Revolution, life in the 13 British colonies was a mix of hardship and hope. People were farmers, traders, and craftsmen, working hard to build a future. They spoke English, respected British law, and for the most part, saw themselves as loyal British citizens. But there was a growing problem simmering just beneath the surface. Britain controlled everything. The colonies had no real political voice, no independent government, and no power to make their own laws. They were subjects, not partners. Yet, they were expected to pay heavy taxes to a government thousands of miles away, a government where they had no say. This imbalance of power and fairness is where the first seeds of tension were planted. After the long and costly French and Indian War, Britain was deep in debt. To refill its treasury, the British government turned its eyes to the American colonies. It began imposing a series of taxes. First came the Sugar Act, then the Stamp Act, and later, the infamous Tea Act. Tax after tax, law after law, all passed without any colonial input. This led to a powerful and revolutionary idea, summed up in a simple phrase: no taxation without representation. Colonists weren't immediately demanding violence or independence. At first, they just wanted fairness. They wanted the same rights as any other British citizen. Protests began, meetings were held, and the anger started to build. Then came a turning point: the Boston Tea Party. Colonists, disguised to protect their identities, dumped an entire shipment of British tea into the Boston harbor. This wasn't just vandalism, it was a powerful, symbolic message. Britain's response was swift and harsh. They passed what the colonists called the Intolerable Acts, a series of punitive laws designed to crush the rebellion. But instead of crushing it, these laws broke the last remaining bonds of trust. The relationship was shattered. The breaking point arrived in the quiet towns of Lexington and Concord. British troops marched from Boston with a mission: to seize a hidden cache of colonial weapons and arrest rebel leaders. But the colonists were ready. Local militias, known as Minutemen, stood in their way on the Lexington town green. In the tense standoff, a shot was fired. To this day, nobody knows for sure who fired it, but that single shot changed the course of history. It was the shot heard round the world. The American Revolution had officially begun. This was no longer a protest over taxes. This was now a war for survival against a global empire. Ordinary farmers, blacksmiths, and merchants put down their tools and picked up muskets, forming the Continental Army, and leading them was a Virginia planter named George Washington. He wasn't a military genius, and he wasn't perfect, but he was determined, calm, patient, and disciplined. Most importantly, he believed in the cause. He believed that the colonies could achieve freedom, even when the odds seemed impossible. With war raging, a critical question hung in the air: were the colonists still fighting for their rights as British citizens, or were they fighting for something entirely new? In the summer of 1776, leaders from all 13 colonies gathered in Philadelphia to answer that question. They talked, they debated, and they argued intensely over the future. Finally, a young Virginian named Thomas Jefferson drafted a document that would change the world forever: the Declaration of Independence. It laid out a radical new vision for government. It declared that all men are created equal, endowed with natural rights to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It argued that governments get their power from the people they govern, and most revolutionary of all, it stated that if a government becomes destructive and abusive, the people have the right to alter or abolish it. On July 4, 1776, the colonies officially adopted this declaration. They declared themselves free and independent states. The United States of America was born, not just as a place, but as an idea. But declaring independence was one thing, winning it was another. Now, they had to fight for it. The war for independence was a brutal, grueling struggle. The British Army was the most formidable military force on Earth. They were well-trained, well-equipped, and backed by the world's largest navy and a massive treasury. In contrast, the American Continental Army was a ragtag force of volunteers. They were often poorly supplied, underfed, and inadequately clothed. The winter at Valley Forge became a symbol of their suffering. Soldiers endured freezing temperatures with little food and thin clothing. Many died from disease and starvation. It was the lowest point of the war, but they did not give up. They persevered. Under the guidance of foreign officers like Baron von Steuben, they trained relentlessly, becoming a more disciplined and effective fighting force. They grew stronger, bound together by a powerful motivation the British lacked. They weren't fighting for a king or for pay. They were fighting for their homes, their families, and for the future of a free nation. The American Revolution wasn't won alone. The colonists' struggle for liberty captured the imagination of people in Europe, especially in France. Britain's longtime rival, Benjamin Franklin, acting as an American diplomat in Paris, worked tirelessly to secure foreign aid. After the crucial American victory at the Battle of Saratoga, France was convinced. They officially recognized the United States and entered the war on the American side. French support was a game changer. They sent money, weapons, experienced soldiers, and most importantly, a powerful navy that could challenge British control of the seas. This alliance shifted the entire balance of power. The war culminated at Yorktown, Virginia, in 1781. The main British army, led by General Cornwallis, was trapped. The Continental Army and French forces surrounded them on land, while the French navy blocked any escape by sea. With no hope of rescue, Cornwallis surrendered. While the surrender at Yorktown didn't instantly end the war, it was the decisive blow. The end was finally in sight. 2 years later, in 1783, the Treaty of Paris was signed. In this historic document, Great Britain formally recognized the independence of the United States. The war was over. The 13 colonies were no longer colonies, they were a new nation, founded on the radical ideas of freedom, self-government, and the right of the people to determine their own destiny. The American Revolution was more than just a war. It was a powerful statement to the world. It was a testament to the belief that ordinary people can rule themselves. That power shouldn't be concentrated in the hands of a distant king, but should belong to the citizens. A group of determined colonists had challenged an empire, and against all odds shaped their own history, and they won. So, why does a revolution that happened over 200 years ago still matter today? The American Revolution sent shockwaves across the globe. It inspired countless other movements for independence and democracy in France, Latin America, and beyond. It challenged the old world order of monarchies and empires. But the story was also complex and incomplete. The ideals of liberty and equality did not apply to everyone at the time. The fight for freedom continued long after the war ended, as enslaved people, women, and many others struggled for their own rights. More struggles would come, more voices would rise, and more change would follow. But this moment, this revolution, was the critical starting point. It was the birth of a nation that would continue to grow, to question, and to redefine what freedom truly means. The American Revolution wasn't just a story of great battles and famous leaders. It was a story of immense courage, of profound risk, and of an unshakable belief in something greater than fear. If you enjoyed this deep dive into history, let me know what you think in the comments. Are there other moments from American history you'd like to see covered? And if you want more videos like this, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and maybe share it with a friend who loves history. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.